Numbers moving? I always check that, okay, because I have a lot of times I've done a lot of talking and not even get it recorded, okay. All right, I'm here with Chelsi today, and I know a lot of you watching know her. She's been in the horse business ever since she was a little girl. And it seems like I'm seen you since you was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Been at it for a long time, and I know that many of you've seen her. Rode several world champions, and could be doing it again. Okay, great
Let's hope.
show last night. I mean,
Thank
tremendous show, really
Thank you.
was. But here with her today, and I just appreciate. Chelsi, tell me this: how long have you been at this when we talk about horses and riding horses and showing? And
Even though I'm only 29 plus, I've been showing since I was 3, so I've been showing for 32 years.
Man, alive. That is a long time, ain't it? It's
My
good.
mama got me in it early.
Well, I mean, your family, but you come from a heritage of horse show people.
Yes.
I mean, I remember since we went to the Russell County Fair. Okay, I mean, those were horse shows, wasn't they?
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay, about
Ain't like they used to be.
I mean, it's different, wasn't it? I mean, really, I think about those type of things. Well, when you started out, what did you really start out showing? What did you do?
Ponies. We started out saddlebreds, more along that line and stuff, and then whenever we got up just a little bit older, my mom and my family and everybody's always done racking horses.
Right.
Then they went to more some saddlebreds and stuff, and some went back to saddlebreds more now. But you know, I've stuck with the racking and things like that. I got a speed bug, so
right.
I like to go fast.
Yeah. What did you start out on? Just on ponies, like pleasure, trail pleasure, or what did you showing? What did you?
No, trotting ponies.
Trotting ponies. Okay.
Yep.
You know, I like a good road pony.
Yes.
I mean, I really do. Well, let me tell you, your family used to have we call it a horse van. You know, man, wasn't those things? I mean, we think about them, but weren't they a nightmare in the end?
Yes.
And the horses would fall off the ramps.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
We were talking about how they would jump off sometimes and go to get on and knock those sideboards off.
Those ramps just really ain't that safe.
Oh, yeah. We had to stick the stobs in the horse in the side of them and had them. How in the world do you live through those horse vans? I don't know.
I prefer my horse trailer now.
And I remember you guys had one. I remember that. I remember the first time that I seen a gooseneck trailer. I was fascinated. Everybody in the horse show come gathered around it. I don't know. Do you remember Larry Davis and Sheila Davis? I don't know if you remember them. They were from Princeton.
I remember that name.
Davis, but he come in. He had a car dealership, and he had brought in a gooseneck horse trailer. And we gathered around it. Man, it was just like kids around an ice cream truck, fascinated by that thing.
Yep.
Thought, what in the world is? Because we're all so used to seeing a horse van. Really were, but it was good. Well, tell me about your family. Let's talk about that just a second. Talk about your mom. Great lady.
She
touched a lot of lives too.
She got us started in it. And
right.
She's been gone for 5 years.
Right.
And so a couple years ago, in 2022, I didn't plan on bringing my speed horse. Done retired him. He's been retired for 10 years every year. But jerked him out of the stall, took him in 2022, and I told Mama before I left, I said, I'm going to bring you back some roses.
Right.
So Jack brought her back some roses.
Yeah. Well, she touched a lot of lives. And she set generations in motion, didn't she?
She did.
When I think about that. And I mean, she always is so kind to me. And I think of how she set those generations in motion. People that were in, and I really try not to forget people, okay? Because it's easy to do. I mean, we can forget people that I think about. You remember Dr. Olinger from Tazewell?
Oh, yeah.
And all those kids, and how Mr. and Miss Olinger would come, and all the kids would load up in the horse van and bring them and come to the horse show. I think about that, and those people in our lives, and both of those have went on to meet the Lord now. I think about them. Or I think about, even when we think about TJ's mom, think about Libby.
Yes.
Lord, they'd come in with the kids, and TJ running around with that long hair, little old tiny girl, and you think about those things, but I think we shouldn't forget those.
No. And I think about her every day.
Yeah, I think about it.
Especially
you should.
Here.
And I think that you really should. And I know my father passed away. It's been 2 years now. And, we talk every day.
Yep.
Every day, worked together, worked in the mines together, and we were together like you and your mom.
Yep.
Anything? Well, now, so we talk about a mom, and we got to get that out of the way. We got to talk about family some, okay? But let's talk about business, being in business. You are extremely entrepreneur oriented, it seems like. Okay,
I've tried to dabble a little
see,
bit.
I mean, you always, ever since I remember, you've always had something a little bit going on. Okay, and I think that's really great. I mean, I admire that. I think it's really cool. Okay, I mean, it's like a drug a little bit, but you've really. So, what are some of the things that you've done as you've dabbled in business?
Well, I guess I was 18 or 19. I opened my own tax store.
I knew that, but I wanted you to say it.
Yeah. I guess that was my first start. And so while I was there, I used to be a little smaller than I am now and couldn't buy any clothes to fit. And so I had to get all my clothes taken up. And I was like, well, that looks pretty easy. Yeah. So bought a sewing machine. And so I started making some clothes, Western clothes and things like that. And but what I still do is I make a lot of bling tack. And so I've been doing that for probably 12, 13 years now. I still sell some. I don't really advertise it a whole lot anymore because I ain't got much time, but I still do make some.
Yeah. If someone happened to want to get some from you, how would they do it?
Contact me on Facebook.
Okay, good. Good. Well, I know you've always sort of you've had that way about you. Okay, you've always had that little bit of entrepreneur spirit, and because I've watched you grow up too over the years. I've seen you grow up, but I mean, I think that's interesting. Okay, when we think about things changing in the horse shows, in the horse show realm, in the horse show world that we live in, what are some things you've seen change over the years?
A lot. Horses around the house has changed a whole lot. Pleasure horses have changed a whole lot. A whole lot more speed horses and stuff seems like. A whole lot more different types of classes and stuff. Now here we've got more country speed horses and things like that, and that's been a huge addition to here because I mean that's really brought out a whole lot more horses, a whole lot more people to this side of the business.
What do you think of when you think of a country speed horse? What do you see when you see a country speed horse? What do you think they should do?
I mean,
what do you think?
Amy Brumley's horse. I think that's the perfect. I think that class is pretty much modeled after him.
Yeah.
He's
make
nice.
Amy feel good. She'll like that. She'll put you on her Christmas list.
Yeah. I've always thought he's real nice.
Yeah, he is. He's smooth.
Yes.
Sits there and clicks it off.
Got a good head. Got a wonderful front end. I mean, he's right speed.
Yeah, he's a good horse. He really is a good horse. He is. And Amy gets more nervous than he does, I believe. I think he's a fairly calm horse, but I think she gets a little nervy. She's always done that too.
They feed off of you, and I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's easy to be nervous. So what about when we talk about people around the horse shows? I mean, do you see the atmosphere's changing, or what do you see?
I mean, there's a whole lot more new people being brought in here, but I mean, I guess I'm good with faces. Bad with names, so I recognize a whole lot of people, but I'm not good at.
Well, see, that really makes me feel better, okay? Because I mean, I can remember a face, and I can see somebody and tell you who their mom and dad is.
Yeah,
I recognize their traits, and I see that.
I can tell you the horse,
but I have to. But I keep a list of names in my phone, okay, under notes. People's names I have to remember. Now, my cousin Dwayne, Dwayne can remember stuff. It's crazy. He remembers what me and him done in '72, okay, and who we was with. But I mean, I have to try to remember names, like you said. But our faces, I can get them and I remember them and I know them. And Janice says I live in my laxy daisy world sometimes, but I just go on just watching and enjoying people. But remembering names sometimes, that is a challenge.
It is.
I don't know how people do it. I've gotten out of where I try to associate them with a picture.
Yep.
Okay, I'll think of their name and I associate it with some picture in my mind of something, and then I can sort of roll with it and get it. But it is. So we've seen that change. Okay, now we're covering a few different topics here. Okay, next thing we want to talk about, and I just sort of added this into my interviews. Okay, music. Okay, because people, Janice is laughing because I'm still stuck in the 70s, okay, with the Eagles and Dr. Hook and all these people, okay? But when you think about music, what music do you like?
I like most everything except for new stuff. I don't like much new. 50s, 60s, 70s mostly. 80s, 90s, but
Right.
I'm stuck.
Not much
way
on
back
rap
into.
then? You're pretty...
Now I did graduate a few years ago before all this new stuff really
Right.
come about. So I do like rap. The older rap, I'll say.
Yeah, I have a hard time following it where I've got real slow southern ears.
Yeah.
And I have a little trouble. We one day we were hauling some things to the garbage dump, and from the church, and had some bunch of rap CDs somebody had gave us, and nobody wanted them. So I was with one of my older friends, and we were sitting there. We put that CD in. We got to listen to that.
Yeah.
And we were fascinated by the music. Yeah, okay.
I don't think your ears could stand much of it.
I was listening. I was thinking, man, how did they? And
you probably had to start praying for them
but
too.
Don't you think too? I think they're faking sometimes with those words, but I hear people repeating them with them.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they ain't making those words up as they go.
Yeah.
Maybe they really do know that music.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fascinated by that. I like this jelly roll guy. I like him. I think it could be because he's big like me.
He's got a great voice.
He really does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I enjoy him, and I enjoy him. Well, I mean, music's important. It's important. You know, I heard someone talking a while back said you should go to live music. You should find some place to listen to live music at least once a month, because we get away from that.
Yep.
And we just listen to recorded stuff all the time, and we do those things.
We got into going to karaoke.
Yeah.
This year, every Wednesday night, that's where we would go, and we'd go listen to karaoke. We really enjoyed
cool.
that.
We don't do that.
Something fun.
We don't. That would be cool. We went to I've heard Willie Nelson live. You know, and Eagles. We got to listen to Eagles on one of their tours one time. Janice and I did, and different people like that. And that was just so fascinating to go listen to them live. Watch the Eagles. They started out sitting on the guitar amp in the middle of this little stage, just sitting there, and the production kept getting bigger till it was just unreal. Time they got to the end of it.
We went and saw Jamie Johnson earlier this year, and he's wonderful. One of my all-time favorites. I've always wanted to see him, but he had Ben Haggard with him, Merle Haggard's son.
Right.
If you have not heard him, you got to listen to him. I mean, he's wonderful.
That's neat.
He just makes you melt.
Yeah.
He's good. He's better than his daddy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We go listen to no, it's Conway Twitty. The Conway Twitty
impersonator.
Yeah, in Pigeon Forge, Travis James.
Yeah.
He's married a girl from Grundy.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's Thomas Taylor who does Conway too.
Yeah, I've seen him before too.
There's at karaoke. There's a guy who does Elvis impersonations. It's interesting.
Cool. Yes, sometimes it is. Sometimes Janice likes the younger version.
That's my number one man. I don't like nobody singing.
The younger version, Janice seems to giggle a lot when they're up there, and that young version. She don't like the little more of the belly older version, but she likes the young one. I'd like to go see him. I thought they didn't like that, you know.
Dean Z. If you haven't seen Dean Z.
I've heard of him. We've heard of him. Yeah. We sure have.
I know y'all travel a lot. I think he may have come to Myrtle Beach a time or two.
I remember seeing him.
And then there's also I know he comes to Memphis, but I think he does a lot out in Branson, if y'all get out that way. He's wonderful.
Okay, we're covering several topics here, and I know we're ranging out just a little bit, but I think that's good. Okay, because first thing is, there's people that see you that don't know you. And we're just going to show them the good parts today, not when you get mad about something or anything like it. We want to keep it in. So when we talk about this, let's talk about a moment. Let's talk about marriage. Okay. And what advice could you've first thing, how long have you been married, and what advice could you give to people when they're looking for a husband or wife?
Let's see, we've been married for 4 years now.
Right.
Almost 5. So we've been together for quite a long time for that. But I mean, he puts up with me. He puts up with me more than I put up with him. He's not a horse guy. Right. So this isn't his thing, but he does it because he loves me, and I'm spoiled. I'll tell you that. Find a husband that'll spoil you. I'm spoiled in a lot of ways, so he takes care of me.
He seems real level.
He is.
Okay, I mean, I don't mean disrespectful. You don't seem real level. You seem okay, but you seem like you could be a little aggressive. Or a little bit excited.
I get excited. I get nervous.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, because that's all good. But I mean, he seemed level.
Yeah.
This guy really seems level.
Yeah, he tries to bring me back down sometimes whenever I get a little nervous.
Yeah.
But
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is good.
He is. He's good to me. So.
I find Janice directs me a lot, because I have to have it, because I go in directions, and that's like when we had 8 restaurants at one time, but while Janice is the worker, okay? We both worked for McDonald's for years and supervised and managed for them. Janice was the type of manager that would be up front working, waiting on making sure everybody drive through. I was the guy that would sit at the back and count the money, get the register done. And if drive-through beeped, I hollered, somebody needs to get drive-through. Okay. But she would be working in the restaurants that we just built. And I would go out and find another one, and say, hey, we just got a new place. And then she would jump on me a little bit, and then she would organize and get us together. But you got to have that mix in marriage.
You do. He's a worker. I mean, we both are, but I mean, he is a worker. After my mom passed, we had to try to do something with my horses because my horses was always with her. So we had to really jump on it and get something fast. So we've been barn building for the whole time we've been married. So, and then that was right whenever COVID hit. And so life didn't change much for us. But because we were working daylight to dark, trying to get horses down to where we live and everything like that. And so, I mean, he's really done so much for me and tried to build me such a nice barn. And we're still working on it 4 years later. But he's done a lot. And not even being a horse guy, know.
Well, tell me this. When we're still talking about marriage and looking for a husband, looking for a wife, okay? Because, I mean, I know I've got good friends that run through 6 or 7, okay? I mean, really, I had a young lady in the church been married 7 times. I asked her one time, I said, how do you remember your name? But, so, I mean, what were you really looking for? I mean, I think we all sort of looking for something. Not, you can love a dog that bites you.
Yeah.
So it's not just love.
No.
But what do you, and I know that's a tough question, but what really?
I guess just the best friend, because I mean, me and him, we do everything together. He puts up with this, but we go on a lot of trips. We spend a lot of weekends at Disney. We're getting ready to go in a couple of weeks and spend a whole week down there. So that's our happy place. We love to go down there and stay.
I think that's cool. It's good to go and not have kids. Okay, man.
And I think that may be part of it too, because I don't, like you said, I'm a little jittery sometimes, and I don't think I could do the kids and stuff. So we don't really plan on having any. So I think that really adds to us being us.
Right, and I think everybody's different. You got different stuff here. Yeah, I really. All right, so we talked about marriage, we talked about horses, we talked about family. Let's talk about money. Okay. Now, one thing too, by watching you, and I watch a little bit. Okay, by watching people, I think you seem like you've always, and it takes a lot to do what you do. Okay, when horses, people don't understand. You have to have middle class money, good money to do horses. You can't just do it. So that means you got to work, but you have to be thrifty and economical, and you have to be able to do little things and hustle. But I mean, what advice could you give to people about making it and having money and being financially stable?
Well, my husband says if you're going to have horses, you ain't going to have no money.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean,
you got to run through it. It has to come from somewhere.
It does. I work. I work for Food City. I work for their corporate office up there. So we take care of all the stores and stuff. So I'm a general merchandise category manager. So I take care of all the general merchandise in the stores. I do seasonal stuff. So I do a lot of, bring a lot of things on import. So, that all the strikes and everything like that impacts a lot of what I do. And but I always say I get to do all the fun stuff in the stores. I get to do all the Christmas or the summer stuff, the furniture, the decor and things, but also take care of, the bakeware, cookware, mops, brooms, all that stuff.
Well, yeah, but, and we can deal with that part. But you still have to be able to have some money to do what you do. And there's other people that make the same amount of money that you make and your husband, but they don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Why do you think you're different than them?
I don't know. We work a lot.
Okay.
We work a lot.
But you have to
try to have
taking care of your money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to take care of it. And now the only thing I did see, what kind of truck is that y'all had parked in front of your place? What are you driving?
It's a Dodge.
I thought it was a Dodge. You know,
2008 Dodge.
I you know, I don't want to say too much about that. I didn't want to. Because,
we all differ.
Okay. All right. I know it. And if I couldn't get anything, I would drive a Dodge. But I think it's okay. But you had to be able to take care of your money. You've got to be wise. You know, there's little simple things, and I think we can do them subconsciously. That causes us to keep moving forward financially. You know what I mean? And there's things in your life that you do, and maybe you don't even know. For example, not buying things you don't need.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
I try not to. Now I'm the world's worst. I don't hardly buy myself anything. Now the horses is a different story.
Right.
So they pretty much get all of my money. But you know,
right.
I'm really bad about not buying clothes or anything
Right.
for myself.
Right.
My sister does that for me. My mom,
Right.
she did before she passed. You know, birthdays,
Right.
Christmases, things
Right.
like that. She always bought me a lot of clothes. So my sisters took up that.
Right.
But you know, I don't buy myself a whole lot.
Right.
I give it all to them, I guess.
I think that'd be one of the keys in your saying is you really are, you know, you can be thrifty. Okay. And be thrifty in some areas. And, you know, we're thrifty in some areas and some areas we're not in. But I mean, we try to be thrifty because I think about things that I don't want to get in a bind, you know, and we've all, at this point, you know, you know, we don't have no house payment anymore. We don't, things like that. We sort of appreciate that. And there's things I drive by and I don't want.
Yeah.
But I think, nah, I don't want to be under the yoke.
No, I mean, you know, I don't have to have the nice fancy new cars or anything like that. You know, mine's paid for because I mean, you know, I don't want no vehicle payment or anything like that because you know, obviously got to spend that on the horses. So it's priorities. It's what you want. You know.
Ma'am. I think that's important, and I see it. And like I said, you know, it takes people. There's a lot of money that we spend. You know what I mean? On horses are not a cheap venture, but anyway. No. And I love it. All right, let's share about this then. Okay. On the job that you have, I'm sure sometimes you have to explain to people what you do when we talk about horses. Yeah. And is it you find that it's a little bit hard to communicate because from the outside you look like a lunatic. Okay, people say, what? First thing they say is, I bet you make a lot of money showing those horses on the weekends. Okay, but how can you communicate with people on the job? Say we're talking about Food City and friends on the job when they say, now what are you doing? When they're going to do something else that doesn't really cost anything, they're going to have a picnic, and you're going to the horse show at Russell County or Dungannon.
A lot of them probably think I'm pretty crazy, because you know, sit there and tell them about you know what we do.
Right.
Little maybe possibly about what I spend. Right. You know, but they kind of think I'm a little crazy, but that's all right.
You know, I find that horse people, it's hard for them to explain it to the rest of the world. Okay, when
we don't talk the same language.
Right. That's it. I think that's it. You don't really talk. They can't understand why you do what you do, or why you. And it's a whole. But one thing, when you take back in your life how you were raised up, you know, in the middle of this, and you're hooked, man. You're in there, and you enjoy that, and it becomes part of your identity.
It's not an option. It's a have to. You know, it's. And I guess my husband, he understood that from the start.
That was good.
That's what comes with me.
Yeah,
so
that was good. I mean, when you think about, because when people think of you, they don't think of Chelsi and Food City. Okay, they think of Chelsi and the pleasure horse, or Chelsi and the speed horse. You know, people here don't say, "Oh, Chelsi, she works at Food City." They don't think about that. No. You know what I mean?
Probably nobody really even knows where I do work. For the most part.
Yeah, but they think of you and a horse, you and a trail horse, you and a speed horse. They think of you and that.
Yep.
And that makes it. Yep. It's just the way we do it.
Horse people relate. The person to the horse.
Yeah, they relate back to it. Well, all right. We've covered a lot of stuff. I know we have, and I know one of the things that we shared when we started this is you said you weren't good on camera, which. You've done just fine. All right.
Can't look at it.
You done good, but I mean, I really believe that when we're doing what we're doing, we've seen a lot of changes in horse shows, and we've seen things change. And I know we're down here.
We're going to see a lot more next year.
I believe we are, But you're getting ready for that, and other people getting ready for that, and we're sort of preparing for the future. We don't want to wait and be astounded one morning when everything changes. And I think what you're doing. Well, now tell me this: in the horse business, when we talk about horses, who have been some of your inspirations that have really inspired you, set standards in you, maybe set challenges that have inspired you when it comes to horse shows?
I mean, I'll say Sue. Sue Dunn. She's my best friend. But I mean, she's such a wonderful role model for everybody. I mean, she's always so supportive of everybody. She'll be the first one to congratulate you, try to support you, do anything she can to help you. I mean, she's a wonderful little person.
Yeah, I know. She's always been kind to us. And Dwight's the emotional one, though. He is emotional. I'm just thinking about a minute ago. I watched up there. He asked me a question, and she was working on a horse, and she said, "I told you that answer just a few minutes ago." And I told him, I said, "I'm going to get out of here. I feel like it's a fight brewing, and I don't want to be in the middle of it."
No, it's just a talk.
No, I didn't want to be in there, but she's always been a blessing. She really has.
She really is. She's been such a blessing in my life.
Have you had an opportunity to come down here in the Walking Horse Celebration ever?
I have actually. I got to Exhibition Jack down here a couple years ago, in 2023 actually. Unfortunately, he was 21 at the time. And you know, he was retired, hadn't been out of the barn. And
you hadn't got him out of the field long, had you, when you brought him down here? Was he in the field, or was he?
He was still in the barn. We was working on our fences and stuff, so he was still in the barn. But and I hadn't cut his tail yet. And they called and asked if I would come, and I couldn't pass that up for him.
Absolutely not.
And unfortunately, the trailer ride down here, he's had ring bone for years, and you know, tried to deal with that and stuff. And the trailer ride down here with rough roads and the bridges and stuff are horrible. And that really took a toll on him, and he wasn't himself whenever he got here. But you know, that was.
But you got the opportunity to do it.
I did, and that meant you know, a lot for me to get to do that with him.
Yeah. Sue and I were rehashing how you got him the other day, and we were laughing about it, because I said I told you about it, how you wound up with him. I said, because I had took him in on a trade. I got a horse off of Barkley's dad, and Doug Bolden had got a horse off of him, and he said, I'll trade you this horse too. I trade you this horse. And I said, well, okay. And Sue said, why don't you give that horse to this little girl? Give it to Chelsi. She said, won't you give that horse to her? And I said, well, you think I should? Yeah, just give it to her. And Sue told me to do it, so I knew I should do it, whatever it was. She was just telling me. So I did. And I said, I thought, and then when I seen you later on, I thought, I didn't know I was giving away such a good horse. I said, I mean, you know, I would have never done it.
I showed him for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you've done pretty good there.
He's been the main man.
I got snookered somehow in that deal. I don't know how it happened. Worked out really good for you.
It did.
Yeah.
He's been so good to me through the years, and you know, me and him, I've made him lose more than he's won, just because of my confidence in him and everything like that. But
when he was right, he's right.
He's right.
I mean, when he's right, you couldn't knock him out with a hammer.
No.
But one of you was had problems sometimes, but I know which one sometimes.
Sometimes both.
Yeah.
But you know, it's probably more me with my confidence in him, because I know he can do it. It's just he's always been so fast. You know, and all these rings and stuff, they can't.
The ring couldn't handle.
The ring's too small.
Yeah.
We want to go too fast, so you know.
Yeah.
Something's got to give somewhere or another.
They showed Mr. Evolution the other morning, and he won.
I saw that.
He's 19 years old.
Is he really? I didn't realize he was that old now.
Come out there, look like just 19 years old.
You've had a lot of really good horses.
He's had a good life. You know, just like talking about Jay. The horse has a good life sometimes, and he just has been blessed. And man, it's great. Well, I tell you, I've enjoyed talking to you.
You too.
I mean, I seem like since you was a little girl, and it's in your whole family.
Yep.
And well, one more topic we better cover. I don't want to miss this. Now, there's a rumor going around.
You're not gonna make me cry again, are you?
No, this is a rumor, and you know, I don't like to get in people's business unless it builds me up, okay, or helps me somehow, you know, financially or in the horse show world. that Dreamer won't let you ride her horse or show her horse. I mean, is this a rumor or what?
Well, I've not really asked. I've hinted, but
right.
you know, I just one time I think I'd just like to take her around the ring, but then I'd also be scared I'd break her. So, well, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd want to right now.
Right
Maybe this winter
well, okay.
after she gets done showing down here.
Okay. I mean, I just think it's, you know, I mean, she should let you ride just a little bit. You know, just not down here, like you said, not down here, because then something could happen.
You know, just one time. I just want to take her around through there just one time.
I can see that. Well, I just wanted to stifle the rumor. It's been spreading around all over the whole horse show place. Everybody's talking about it.
Oh, really?
Why won't she let little old Chelsi ride that horse? How come she won't let her ride?
Yeah.
You know, and I said, I don't know, but I'm going to talk to Chelsi. We're going to clear this thing up, okay, and get it once and for all. We're going to get this foggy situation cleared up, and I think we have today.
Well, hopefully one of these days I'll get a rider.
Well, you let us know when you do.
All right.
And I'll let everybody know.
Y'all be there to catch me whenever I fall off.
Okay, I've been talking to Chelsi today. A lot of you, like I said, have known her, seen her, and some of you out there have seen her grow up from a little girl. Always been a blessing. She set the standard for so many people in the show ring, won on many world champions, and that puts a lot of pressure back, which is really good, because I'd rather have the pressure on me than me trying to pressure other people. It's good to have that. I've shared with a lot of people that rode a lot of world champions, and I would rather be there, have people running at me, than I would me trying to run at them. And she's done really good and set the standard. Yell for her when you see her in the ring. If she don't do good, don't say anything to draw attention to her horse from the judges. But if she does good, yell for her and do that. Thank you for watching Just from the Shed, the Road Edition.